Hi, this is Sarah, the Stitchin Mommy, and it's Monday, January 27th. I just checked and I couldn't remember. That's the hardest part of the video, is remembering what date it is. Yeah, but I'm here for a quick stitching update. I'm up in my room again because my husband's working from home most of the week, so I figured I'd rather just come up here than not do it at all. So got a lot to share with you today. So first of all, it's been a good stitching week, so I'm really happy with what I was able to get done. I also got some haul. My color and cotton threads up for January came, and they often show up at the beginning of the following month, but this month I believe there was some weather issues, and so to try to beat the weather and get ahead of the potential shutdown or slowdown in the post office, she sent them a little bit early. So they're really pretty as always. So this is my regular pack of mixed colors. So my middle son loved these because he's like an orangey yellow guy. So these are really pretty oranges and a yellow, green, blue, and kind of a purpley. Not really, I don't know, what's that called? I don't know. It's like a dark dusty purple, mauve-y. There's a word I'm thinking of. Can't think of it now, but they're really pretty. I like those a lot. I just finished bobbinating the ones from last month and almost unbobbinating all the variegated ones from Victoria Motto that I got recently too. So every Sunday we watch a show that I can bobbinate while we watch, and so that's what I do. I also had fun on Saturday kitting up some teacher projects for my kids' teachers. So my daughter really wants to, I suggested this to her and she really likes it. So she's only 7, but she has stitched a little bit before, and she's going to do this one by Trellis and Time called a School Days Sampler, and she's really excited about it. But I was getting out my fancy floss boxes to look for floss for my son's teacher, and she started picking colors out of there, and I was thinking, you know, why not? I've got all this floss from Color and Cotton, Victorian Motto, and I eventually, for mine, I pulled out my other box that's got a little bit of Gentle Arts and Weeks and Classic Colorworks. I need to use them. And patterns like these that are just colors, they're not shaded nicely or full coverage, like you can do whatever you want with them. So she kitted this up with whatever she wanted. Where she actually, like, I pulled from my stash for all of these. I did buy this pattern recently from the Fat Quarter Shop, and I forget where I got this other one, but all the supplies were from stash. So she chose 18 count Ada. This is beige, the leftover piece from my second Frosted Pumpkin National Parks. I put my Caterpillar cross stitch, stitch by stitch needle minder on there for her. And I should have brought the bobbins up, I guess, but I'd already pulled all these colors, one length of each color, for and put them on this little kitty like thread thing that I got from Shelly, and I used it for a travel project. I can't remember now what I think it was the tea and cakes one, and now it's empty, so she can use it too. So this is all of those colors on this, and I think that'll be really pretty. So she's changing up some of them to be more pinky and purpley and blue and like a more bluey green, and I think it's going to be nice. So it won't be quite as primary as this one, but it'll be more her, and apparently her teacher likes pinks and purples and blues. My daughter likes purples, so I think it'll be fun too for her teacher. So I'll get her hopefully started on that this week. And I'm not sure, I may start one of mine this week too. I'm working on the Bloomtopia Sal, which I can't show you right now. But I did finish part 1 and filmed a little clip for that. And I'm working on part 2. So that's what this is. And so I may finish part 2 and then move on to one of these owls in the car to try to get a little bit of ahead on the Bloomtopia Sal. The first part comes out on February 1st, for that one, and that's a charity stitch along to make a donation to Make-A-Wish, and then you can have the pattern for free after that. Super cute so far. It's like the cross stitch version mimics the quilt version that they're doing, so it's got a quilty vibe to it. I also, yeah, so I'll probably, in order to get a little bit ahead, I'll probably finish part 2 on that and then work on my teacher gifts in the car. And I am working on my temperature pieces here and there as I have time to kind of keep those cut up. The one I'll probably start, I'm not sure. These are both pretty small, but this one is Thankful Owls by Bent Creek. And this is the one I'm going to do for the other first grade teacher that my sons had. Even though my daughter didn't get her, I really, really like her. And the first grade teachers do a Thanksgiving thing in the fall. So I thought that would be the perfect, and their school mascot is owls. So I thought it would be perfect pattern for a first grade teacher at that school to do Thanksgiving owls. And we are thankful for her and all that she's done in the past for us. And I'm going to do this on some linen, probably 32 count it looks like, that was from a Lizzie Cake kit that I was gifted by Debbie, I think Debbie Duarte. And then lots of fancy floss. This one is the one I dipped into my Gentle Arts and Classic Colorworks and Weeks because I had some, I needed more neutrals, and some of the Victorian Motto and Color and Cotton didn't have quite as many neutrals as I was looking for in the shades that I wanted. So this is kind of the idea. You can't see all of them, but it'll be cute. I'm looking forward to that one. And the other one I'm stitching is, it's currently for sale now as a whole set, but it was by Leslie Tier, a set of owls. And I'll show it way back here. This one is a green owl with a red apple, and it's, they're monthly. This is the August owl, and now she's selling the whole set of 12 for a price. For all of last year, they were available for free, one a month on her blog, but then she's taken them down and now you can buy them all together. So I'll link that below. And I found another piece of the Lizzie Kate linen. This one looks a little bigger even weave, or a bigger weave, so it may be 28 count. And these are some of the flosses that my son picked out for this. It'll be totally different because instead of the shading that she chose to have 2 or 3 greens and 2 or 3, for one, it's not going to be a green owl. This is the main feather owl color. This will be the tummy and beak, maybe. I wrote it all down. Yeah. And so it's going to be more of an orangey blue owl. This for the apple and the leaves, the branch, and this will be for like the feet and the fluff under his chin. And he really liked this color too. That was, we'll do that for the butterflies. So each butterfly will be a slightly different shade. So it'll be a lot different, less colors because I'll be using variegateds. And I'll have to adjust like the direction that I stitch in order to get nice variegation because I don't want it all horizontal. I'll probably do, I may do like diagonals on the face, like up here. So it'll be kind of like this with the way that the stripes go, and then maybe on the wing can be up and down, or maybe even diagonal too, because they have back and forth back stitching that's on the diagonal. So maybe I could stitch within the back stitching with quarter stitches to keep it more of a feathery look. And then on the tummy, I'm thinking I'll do like a circle, like I'll do all the way around the edge of the tummy and then just keep filling it in. It won't be exact circle. It'll be like however I can't show you the pattern, I guess. I don't have a mock-up, but like there's the wing coming in, so it'll be like around the shape and then just kind of in. And I think that'll be a better way to do the tummy, and same with the apple and things like that. So that'll be a fun challenge, but also a little bit quicker, I think, because it'll have fewer color changes. So those are all meant for teacher gifts that will be due to gift in, I think, the beginning of May. So I need to get them done by April to fully finish them as well. I'm thinking possibly the teacher one with the owl with the apple could be, that's for my son's current teacher, because I don't know if my daughter will get her because of the way the school has been adjusting their teachers. And so she's a teacher I had for both of my sons as well, and I really like her, so I want to make sure I get her something while my child is in her class. So I don't have to do one like this with one that we try to get it to her some other way because I don't actually have a kid in the class. Yeah, so, oh yeah, what I was thinking, I have seen some people with the little paddles, like cutting boards or cheese boards or school, what are those called? Sampler boards. I forget what those are called, where you used to write your letters and stuff on them. I've seen little things like that in the people I've shown to do their finishes, and I'm thinking the one with the owl might look cute on one of those. They probably both would, and maybe wrap it around some mat board and then put it on one of those. So we'll see. Oh yeah, my temperature pieces. I can show you what those look like now. My quilt I got to again a little bit this week. I didn't work on it last week, but this week I got to it. So this is what it looked like when you saw it 2 weeks ago. And here it is now. I have rounded the corner and I'm down here on the bottom coming along. And how I've worked this, I'm using Color and Cotton Fresh Wool for my sashing color. And so I'm stitching it horizontally, 1 stitch at a time on the sides, and then vertically 1 stitch at a time on the bottom and top with like a, you can see it, weird. You can see it kind of up there a little bit, not really. Hopefully to kind of have like a mitered look on the corner, but because it doesn't always show up, but I know it's there. So every little bit I'll pop in some stitches, and it's a little bit slow going, but that's okay. It's coming along. This was from last year. And then my tree, show you the whole thing because mine still doesn't look quite like a tree yet. I worked on this on Saturday. I think Saturday. I got cut up, so it's a little bit behind again, but it is a really easy one to get caught up on, so I don't worry about it too much. And then once or twice a week I'll put in some more leaves, and then eventually when my quilt sashing is finished, I'll get a move on the trunk and get more of that done. So this is what that looked like when you saw it last, and here it is now. And I think it's turned out really cute. It's getting warm again though, so we've gotten a couple days in the 50s. Still haven't used the coldest 2 colors, and now it's going to get up in the 70s and 80s this week, so it'll be into the greens solidly, but at least the bottom row is mostly blue, so there's that. And when we get a little bit closer to the end of the month, I'll work on the February branch so that I can keep going, but I won't do too much on the trunk until I get the quilt sashing finished. This is on 28 count even weave, light blue even weave from Hobby Lobby, 1/1. And these are my patterns in my Etsy shop. So as you've heard many times in the last, since I think September, I've been choosing a lot of my projects based on the Facebook group Enchanted Stitching Challenges, and it's based on Disney movies. The one for January has been Peter Pan, and then they've told us ahead of time the one for February will be Frozen, which is nice. I'm really hoping I can get some of my winter pieces pulled out a little bit more. I still haven't worked on Winter Wonderland Band Sampler by the Chatelaine. I really want to get that out this year in the wintertime. February feels a lot like spring in Southern California, but it's still technically winter. And I want to work more on my Winter Queen, and then one I'm starting this week is a winter one too. So I can pull those out and maybe even work on the winter band on my stitching shelf a little bit if it fits a prompt. Speaking of that, I decided to keep my stitching shelf whip. I don't have it with me here today, but I do hope it will come out soon, because I think the more I thought about it, the more I don't want to give it up quite yet. I want to give it some time, use Pattern Keeper, because so far I am loving Pattern Keeper, and I think that'll help it go a lot more smoothly. I loved working on it over Stitch Mania this past year when I was picking a color and stitching long chunks cross country. That was really fun. So as long as I maybe stick with Pattern Keeper, stick with doing things cross country, I may not get bogged down so much. So we'll have to see how it goes. But for now, I'll keep plugging away at it. I have really no aspirations that one will ever get done, so I'm not gonna push myself to finish certain amounts of pages. I know there's people who, I know Stitchin It recently mentioned she wanted to try to get it finished by time she was 50, 40. She had a goal by a certain birthday. She wanted to get it done. So she had a certain amount of pages that she needed to finish per month or per quarter or something in order to get it done by her goal. And that's great. But with so many full coverage pieces and so many other things I want to stitch, I don't want to put that much pressure on myself to get a ton of stitches on one particular project. So it'll just be a fun piece. It'll come out every once in a while. If I can touch it once or twice a year, I'll be happy. And it's fun to work on. It won't be one of those pieces that will have like a lot finished like you see on other people's channels, and that's okay. For me, I'm okay with that. So what I did work on this week for Enchanted Stitching Challenges was Anne of Green Gables. I'm doing a crop of Quick Stitch Anne of Green Gables by Amy Stewart. This is a Heaven and Earth Designs chart, and I'm cropping it beyond the crop, so it's only 105 by 105. Loved working on this week. I made some great progress. I got a full 500 plus half stitches, and finished like 3 colors because I was using Pattern Keeper, and it's really easy once you get on the color. You can find it everywhere, and then just keep going until it's done. And with something this small, it's really easy to do that. I'm trying to think if there's, I forget how I had it in the back last time, because this is see-through. I'm doing this on silk gauze so you can see through it. So all of the trailing threads on the back are visible on the front, which is a little bit annoying when I want to share it with you, but that's okay. So this is what it looked like last week, and here it is now. So since the prompt I was working on was for work on something with a hat, I decided to pick some colors in her hat. So I picked 2 different brownish tan colors in her hat and then finished them everywhere. So it ended up in her face, in his face, down here, over here. And then I finished the black that I think there was some here and down here a little bit more that I had started on the challenge previously to this one. And then I started, there was 1 dot up here in her hat and up here, but this color is in all of her sleeves and things. So I wanted to kind of get the rest of the color, the rest of the 500 stitches done fairly quickly. So I picked a color that had a lot of half stitches, and it's still on my needle because I just ended after the challenge. So next time I pick this up, I'll finish out that color and then move on to something else. But I think it's turning out really nice. You can see the faces a little bit better, and this is the bottom, clearly. This is the side, like, so you can definitely see the whole thing now. So that's really fun. And the more you get things filled in, the less you can see those trailing threads on the back, so that's going to be fun too. Oh yeah, and there's I don't necessarily have plans to pull this out again soon, but I do want to get it finished this month, so I'll probably pull it out somewhat frequently. Not this month, this year. I want to finish this year. So this was one that I had picked for the Around the World prompts in Full Coverage Fanatics. That's also a Facebook group. And that there are no stitching requirements. It's just a theme that you choose things for. So I chose this for, the theme for January was Australia, and so they have a lot of trains in Australia. So this one was chosen for trains because there's a lot of trains in Anne of Green Gables also. I also have this picked for Canada because it's a Canadian story, and I don't remember what month that is, but it'll be coming out again for that. And then Full Coverage Fanatics also has a Love Weekend Challenge next month, the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday around Valentine's Day. They love each other, and it's a sweet fun love story. So I'll probably pull this out that weekend and put some more love into it then. So that week I'll probably need to do all my enchanted stitching challenges before, like through Thursday. And I hopefully can put this into one of those challenges so I can do the 3 other challenges Monday through Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Can do 500 for enchanted stitching and then just keep going with any extra time for the rest of the love challenge. So, and double dip on those. So that's kind of my plan for that. And I forget, let me see, which month is Canada, Brazil, Canada. So March. So it'll come back out again in March as well. So you saw it this month, you'll see it in February and in March. The other thing I'm thinking of is in May. I've considered monogamous May a few times. One of the things I'm considering is doing just the first 20 days of May, do monogamous May, and maybe work on Anne of Green Gables to try to get that finished, or Quick Stitch Iris to get good progress on that, or work on my To Everything a Season sampler to get that finished. So there's a lot of things that I may choose something that I'd like to get either finished or really close to a finish or really good progress. Like I want to pick something and work on that for 20 days, and then the rest of the month can be, you know, start a couple things, do other things, etc., etc. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. So you may see that again in February and March and maybe May and maybe other ones too if I really want to finish it. So it was going pretty fast, so I was surprised, and it is fairly small. So yeah, that's good. So another one I did was my husband's piece, Simpsons. I did this for the prompt, something that confuses you because the original chart was very poorly printed and poorly designed. So I recharted it because it was so bad. And this one I managed to also get 500 half stitches, and I just stuck with working on the blue in her hair because it was already on my needle. I didn't realize that last time, and so I just kept going and then figure I'll just keep going. It's really fast to get stitches that way, and I want to get that top part finished. So this is what it looked like last time, and here it is now. And this is also on 40 count, but this is 40 count even weave Vertil that I got from Traditional Stitches, and I really like the tiny stitches, and so I got several rows here in her hair. So I'm looking forward to getting her hair finished because I think it'll make the rest of it more fun to work on once that's done. It'll be nice to see that finished. It's like a warm navy blue, so it's always comes up a little bit dark. But this fabric is really, really nice to work on. I'm enjoying Anne of Green Gables, but I don't necessarily love working on the gauze because it's so see-through. So this is a little bit nicer to work on because it's actually, you can see the threads more than the holes, and so it's not as see-through. It's easier to count and see where you are. I also worked on my son's piece, Dragon Ride by Teresa Wentzler, and this was fun. He told me, I was working on one of the colors in here and still had that on my needle and everything, and so I asked him what he wanted me to work on next, and he said, I like the wing, so work more on the wing. So I know he also likes the yellowy gold colors too, so I kept going with the color I was on and completed that throughout. I think it went down here and maybe a little bit right here. I completed that throughout the whole piece, and then I picked the lightest gold that was in these spikes to finish out the spikes right here, and then now I'm working on that elsewhere. So I put some over here too. It will also be down here, and it also is in the border. So I'm considering color completing that color even in the border, and I think that'll actually make it really cool. But so far I haven't gotten that far. This is what it looked like last time. I still have a lot of this on my needle, so I'll keep going with this color next time. Pull this out. Here it is now. This is also on 28 count even weave, mostly 2/2, except for the man who's 1/1. So I had stitched this color, came all the way down here, and then there's a little bit here too. And then I picked the lightest gold and worked all these points and a little bit there, all of this here. And I think this is where I am right now. So I think I stopped here, did this part, and then went to see where else that color was, and it's here, and it'll go down like his here, and then I'll do the tail part too. So And then I'll do the bits where it is in the frame. That'll make it feel really coming together. So I think I'll go ahead and work on that color every time this comes out until I'm done with it. So that's pretty fun. And then, was that all 4? What all did I work on? So, Anne, Dragon Ride, Simpsons, and Iris. Yes, Iris. You haven't seen that one yet. Where is that one? So I worked on Quick Stitch Iris. That's the one I chose to do at the end of the month, or the end of the week, because I wanted to finish the challenge in Enchanted Stitching Challenges and then keep going beyond that, however long. And I think I got an extra at least 100, maybe 150, 200 more stitches than the challenge. So that was fun. This one is for my aunt. And this is what it looked like last time. And I'll keep my parked threads kind of out of the way, and this is what it looks like now. So I've decided to, now that I have Pattern Keeper, it's really fun to do cross country. So I decided to stitch in all my parked threads. So a lot of these up here are now, you know, throughout, all over. This gold color is done. I completely stitched that. There's no more of that in the entire piece. And I noticed Pattern Keeper will tell you how many stitches are left of each color, and there's another color that I don't currently, it's not one of these. I don't know if I have it. I don't think I have it parked anywhere. There's only 4 stitches of it. It's in the middle somewhere. So I may just do that at some point just to get another color done. So I finished one color completely. I reached this edge. I haven't reached the bottom yet. But I am really, really enjoying I don't know how to show you this without, because I don't want to hear maybe through here. So I'm really happy with the cross country. I really, really want to do this extreme cross country. So as soon as I finish out all of these threads, I'm going to color complete. Pick a color up here and do it everywhere until the colors are done. And I'm really enjoying that. I'm really curious with my Quick Stitch April Fairy. She's done on the diagonal with a very meticulous diagonal, 1 stitch at a time in the row, so that all the stitches are very neat and tidy. And I'm wondering if I'm going to want to keep doing that one that way, just to have it that way, or if I'll get so like pulled in the cross-country direction on that one too. So I don't know. I'm very curious what will happen when I pull that one out again. So this coming week, I have 4 more projects, 4 new projects to do. One is the other one that I want to do for the Full Coverage Fanatics Australia, because they have a lot of coastline and seas. So I'm doing Mini Princess of the Sea by Heaven and Earth Designs. Here's a bigger picture of that. It's the actual mock-up of the mini version, and so this is the one I'm going to do for I picked 2 full coverage pieces for every country to try to get to in that month, just because I have so many full coverage pieces. I didn't want to limit myself, so I'd like to get to this one before the end of January. So this one is also a Heaven and Earth design, so I can get it in Pattern Keeper right away. I still need to contact Golden Kite. I haven't had time to do that to get all of my Golden Kite patterns on Pattern Keeper, but eventually that will happen too, because I really, really like how it's been going. This is where I'm at now. I'm doing columns, and I have 1 string on my needle and no parked threads, so I think I had already decided to do this one cross country by column. Like I'd pick the colors in the column and then go cross country. So we'll see what I end up doing when I pull out Pattern Keeper and get it put in there and block off the stitches that I've already done and get going on that. So I'm excited to see what that one. This is 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, 2 over 1 half stitches. So I'll probably try to get 500 half stitches on that, because it's in the sky. It shouldn't be that confetti heavy. Lots of big chunks of color. And something I was thinking of that Rita Marie mentioned, which is nice. And in the Enchanted Stitching group, they have a stitch count or a time goal to do. So I could, if I'm working on a half stitch project, I could choose to do 2 hours instead of 500 half stitches, which would be really nice on something like Knitting Woman, where I want to get work done on the more heavy color change area of the actual people. And then I don't have to get up to 500. If I just clock my time, get 2 hours, then that will work too for the full points. So I will definitely be probably choosing that on some of the half stitch projects I have when I'm in a more confetti dense area. So, but if it's in the sky or in the background, I think it'll be pretty easy to get 500. The other thing is this set of prompts ends on Friday because that's the end of the month. So I don't know what they're gonna do on the weekend, on the 1st and the 2nd. So we'll have to see. I don't know what I'm gonna work on then. If I don't feel like their prompts fit my mood, I'll either keep working on something I'm doing this week, or maybe I'll pull out my oldest son's football piece. Since the Super Bowl's on Sunday, that could be fun to work on. So I don't know yet what I'll do on the weekend, so you have to wait and see. The other thing, let's see, there was another prompt. What was that one for? This is for Full Coverage Fanatics in Australia, but it's also for Enchanted Stitching. All of the Lost Boys and the kids need to choose whether to join the pirates or walk the plank. And I chose walk the plank, and then I'll go join the mermaids. I'll go into the sea, and maybe the mermaids will save me or let me become one of them. So that was my thing for which prompt. I was having a hard time figuring that one out, and I'm like, oh, I wanted to work on Princess of the Sea this month. That'll be perfect. So the other one for a prompt is one regarding to mothers, and it's still January, so I don't want to pull out Knitting Woman again. I've already done that once this month, and I wanted to get more done on this one, which was my New Year, New Start, the Crazy Wonderful Owl family. I got a little bit done in the dad's wing, but there's a mom in here, so I thought that would work. It's related to mothers a little bit. This is a family. And this one you saw at the beginning of the year. I'm doing this on Picture This Plus Glacier, 28 count. So it's a nice pretty color. And that's how far I got so far on the dad's wing. So probably I'll just keep going with that color and see where it takes me. And these are full crosses, so 250 more stitches. This is just about 250 stitches, a little bit more because I just stopped for a challenge the first time too. Which will be a fun thing for the new starts that I want to do this year. That I'll get at least, I would like to plug these new starts into a prompt as much as possible so that I can get at least 250 stitches on the new start, because I don't want it to be one of those tiny little new starts that doesn't even look like anything. And that's 250 stitches on a project like that. Still doesn't look like a whole lot, but at least it's more than like 10. You know, where sometimes you do just a little bit, say, I started it. Oh no. Yep, I'm missing one. I'll be right back. So speaking of tiny little starts that don't look like anything, my E-Fairy was kind of like that. I started it a couple weeks ago and it just had a couple lines of red, which I'll show you here in a minute, and doesn't look like anything. So I really wanted to get this out for a proper rotation before I put it away, to get it a nice rotation at least once a month. So this is Water Lily Linen by Witchelt. It's a little see-through, but it is a nice light green, and that's all I got on that one, on her dress. So that's the pathetic start I'm referring to. So I would like to get 250 stitches on this one. The prompt for that one is something that's golden and sparkly, like the ship that Tinkerbell made the ship turn golden and sparkly to get back home. So this one is the E will be golden. There's some gold in there, and sparkly. There'll be some beads. So I probably won't do any beads this time, but I will do maybe I can do some gold on the E, because I started right here on this part of her dress. So I'll probably go up and do this part of her dress too, but then maybe I could do some of this on the hash part of the E, because that's golden. It doesn't have to be on those colors, but it's always fun to kind of fit the prompt a little bit more. I showed that. So my last one is my Fancy Lady new start that I wanted to do in January and still haven't done yet, but it fit. We needed a prompt on something that contains an item that you could catch Tinkerbell in. And so I thought this one could count. This is the new start I wanted to do in January. This is Winter Rose by Lavender and Lace. And I figured I could catch her in the muff. Or maybe my ice skate. But something like that. And this is a small one. And I'm planning to stitch this on, this is a Lakeside Linens Vintage Misty Rain. And I want to do this one and this Butternut Road A Christmas Visit also on this piece. It's a fat quarter, but since it's 46 count linen, these will be tiny. And so this one will be bigger, but this one will be very small. I haven't actually done the math yet, but I'm very sure these can both fit on here. So this is the fabric. It's a nice foggy gray. It's very pretty. Shelly got me this, I think, for a birthday present one time. So I'll work on this. It's nice and tiny, so I'm doing 2/1, 1/2, one strand of thread over 2 strands of this tiny fabric. So 1/2 on 46 count Vintage Misty Rain by Lakeside Linens. And both of these patterns don't have any beads, which is why I thought it'd be fun to try them on something small. So I generally like to start things like this in the middle, and I do want to work on her, but there is a border here, so I'm not sure. And I think this background part will probably blend in a little bit to the fabric, but I think that'll be okay. It'll just make it more backgroundy, which is fine. So I have not yet decided. I haven't cut my fabric yet. I haven't decided like where I want to start, so we'll have to wait and see. Maybe it depends on how much margin I have. If I have a decent margin, then I might just start in the corner. We'll see. You will have to wait and see, because I don't know. So that'll be fun. New start for January on my Fancy Lady. And I'll put that away in a minute, because I think I'm done now. I think I have showed you everything I need to show you, all my things from this week and next week. I'm really excited that I have time to stitch now. I do need to get all of these I would like to get all of these enchanted stitching goals met by Friday, because and then probably 9 o'clock on Friday also. So we'll see. Some of them, if it feels like I'm not gonna have enough time, I may just crop the goal. But again, I'd like to work on all of them, not forego one for a larger goal on another, as I've mentioned before. So I think that's all. That's really fun. I'm really excited to see what I'm going to work on this week. I've got 2 Heaven and Earth designs. The owls are not full coverage, but they are a Heaven and Earth designs chart, and then 2 Fancy Ladies of sorts. So that'll be a nice variety for this week. So until next week, I hope you have a wonderful time stitching as well, and talk to you later. Happy stitching. Bye.